Let's take a closer look at the Recollections crayons. You're going to see that they come in a beautiful package with this nice hardcover case, and you can see very clearly both the product inside and how much is peeking through the caps. Now the colors match what's on the barrel pretty accurately, and I like the fact that the cap is also clear so that you can kind of see what's going on in there. In order to get the product to move up, you just go ahead and twist the barrel like so. And I was really surprised. There's actually a lot of product in this tube. Look how much you get. It really is one of the products that has the most in the tube between the width of the product itself and then how much is actually inside. I love the fact that it has a nice little grippy pad here, so it's really comfortable to hang on to. It's non-skid, and the chunky barrel means that it's really nice and comfortable to use. As a matter of fact, you'll notice that it's actually very, very similar to another product I've reviewed, the Faber-Castell Gel Crayon. So make sure you click that link above so that you can see that review as well. But now I'm going to show you how these actually work on paper. Okay, I've picked a couple of colors here that I really love, and this teal is one of them. I just want to point out too that even though you can't really see it on the barrel, this is actually a sparkly product. It has a lot of shimmer and shine to it. So it glides on very effortlessly. It's very like a jelly type of feeling. You'll notice that you get a few of those little product boogers, but it's also very blendable. I can take my fingers and just with the oil on my finger, blend it out, almost smoothing out the edges entirely so that it rubs into the paper. And to me, it almost looks like a chalk when you do that. But you can see here, as I move the paper around, you get that sparkle and shine there. It's definitely like a metallic glint and also a little bit of, almost like a glitter in there. And I'll show you on a close-up just a minute. But here I'm going to add a little bit of this gold metallic. You'll see that where the two products overlap, the two colors overlap, you do get some nice blending. And if you just rub back and forth, you can blend it out even a little bit more. So it's a very blendable product, even just with your fingers. And I'll show you in just a minute how it works with things like baby wipes. But there you can see, now I have a nice gradation of color in between the teal and the gold. You get a nice little green there. So here I've gone ahead and I've swatched out all of the colors that come in the 12 color set, and they are sold in a set of 12. And you've got a pink, a coral red, a nice vibrant orange, a light yellow, a green, the teal, the blue, a darker blue, purple, and then this is really more of a gold, a silver, and a white. Now, of course, the white doesn't show up very well on the white paper, but you can see a little bit of that shimmer and shine. By the way, this is just laid down. There was no blending here with a tool or a finger or any water, but you can blend it with water, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But first, I want to show you how it looks on black paper. So here we are with the Recollections product on black paper, and this is just plain black cardstock, and I just want to show you how shiny and shimmery it is. It's my opinion that for a product that is water-based, there is what we call a high pigment load, which is there's a lot of pigment in this media, so that really the pigment shows up very rich and opaque on the surface. And you can see it shows up beautifully on black. You get all of that shimmer and shine and even a little bit of that sparkle on the dark cardstock. All right, so let's go back to our regular cardstock. By the way, this is 110-pound weight, but it's normal cardstock. And I just want to show you a couple things as we blend with water. So here is the product that I went ahead and blended in with my finger. This is straight out of the tube, and again, you can see just how thick and creamy it is. And then it does blend very nicely right on the paper with a nice thick application. And now we're going to just add a little bit of water to this so you can see what happens. So as you can see, when you add that water, it really does liquefy the media and the pigment, and it causes it to move quite a bit. And what may or may not be really easy to see, I think it's not so bad here, is you can see that those little mica pigments also move around. So where you might not see it so much here, where I have added the water, they become really shiny and silvery. So it's almost like a glitter in there. But these products are highly water reactive and move as soon as you put water on top of them. Let me show you what happens with a baby wipe. So when you go ahead and you use a wet baby wipe through a stencil, you really can lift a lot of that color off and get some very deliberate marks or color variations. It doesn't lift all of the color off, but what it does is it kind of gives you a ghosted or a two-toned effect, which I find very enjoyable. I like it a lot. And of course, it gives you a lot of impact with, just a baby wipe. You can also use your baby wipe to blend. And I'm going to show you here on this section that if you take kind of a cleanish section here and you just buff gently, you can get a nice gentle wash of color without actually using a wet brush, which of course could, make your paper wrinkle or then you have to worry about dry time. But just using the wet baby wipe lifts and moves the color around just enough that it gives you kind of a fun pastel effect. So I just wanted to show you in these two examples. Here's one where I applied the Recollections watercolor crayons down and then lifted the color out with the baby wipe. And then I used just a little scribble and the baby wipe to blend it. So here you definitely can see that it's very pastel, but what may be difficult to see is that it still has a lot of shimmer left in it. So it looks almost like a pan pastel or a pastel dry color, but with shimmer on top. And just as a bonus, I did it again here on black cardstock. So again, I applied a little bit of silver, a little bit of gold. I used the wet baby wipe to just kind of blend it out. And what you get is this really almost like metallic patina on it. So I love this application, and there is a lot of color and a lot of pigment in these little sticks. Okay, so here is how the Recollections Color Splash watercolor crayons look on a piece of canvas paper. Now this is the adhesive back canvas paper, but I just scrumbled some on and then I used a wet paintbrush to kind of blend it out. And here you can see how it absorbs into the canvas, but you still kind of get this little dusting of shimmery glimmery on top. I think it's really pretty. I also wanted to check this out on watercolor paper just to see how it would behave. So I actually colored this yesterday and I blended it just a little bit with my finger. So after this has set a day, here's a couple things I wanted to check. Is it still blendable? And the truth is that after sitting for a day, a little bit of color comes up, but it will not necessarily rub off. So some of you are interested in, if I make a card, what happens? Is it going to rub off on their fingers? And the answer is no. After it's had a day to sit, it is pretty adhered on there. But if you add water, let's see what happens. So here we can see that the water is, again, lifting the product out. So if you get your project wet or add another water-based media on top, you may end up with some smearing and blending that you don't want. In that instance, if you want something to stay put for real, I would suggest spraying it with a product like a Krylon Triple Thick or a spray sealer so that then it is no longer water reactive. Okay, let's take a look at a few more samples. This is a piece of map paper that I just scrumbled on a little bit of the Recollections crayon and then blended it with my finger. You can see that while it does have vibrant color, it is not completely opaque. You will still get to see what's underneath if you blend it out. I did the same thing here on the map page. Here's a little bit that I did with a watercolor tag, and again I sprinkled some drops of water on and then I used a paper towel, and you can see it did lift a little bit, so you can continue to get some different techniques and textures by using water. And here is a piece of watercolor paper that I colored on with the Recollections watercolor crayons and then just used a wet brush to kind of blend it together to really give it more of just like a watercolor wash look. And again, though, you can still see all of those pretty sparkles in the paint. And then here in these samples, I actually colored on the back of a block stamp, spritzed water, and then stamped right down onto the paper. And I love the way this looks on black paper. I think it's just absolutely stunning. So there is enough pigment in the Recollections crayon for you to use this direct to stamp.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. This is a lot of information and I hope you found it helpful. Here's a couple of last bits of information though that are really important for you. First of all, you should know that the Recollections brand is Michael's private label, which means the only place that you can find these is at the Michael's craft stores. Secondly, we were told that this is a seasonal item, which means that it's not being carried online. You can only get it in the stores. However, I think this product is a winner, and we should all go to the Michael's social media channels and tell them that we love it and that they should carry it year-round and maybe in different colors too. All right, so there you have it. Inexpensive, $14.99 US price for 12, but you can always use that 40% off coupon, and that makes them really inexpensive and great. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for some head-to-heads with this product against other watercolor media. Make sure you check the cards for that. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a crafty day.